Your current role, you guys, it does not limit your future. Reinvention is possible at every single stage. You can pivot industries, redefine leadership, and pursue purpose-driven work that makes a tangible impact, whether you're just starting your career or at a crossroads. Before we start the show, I have a quick question for you. Is your resume stuck in the rejection pile? At Resume Assassin, I create powerful resumes that showcase your skills, experience, and achievements, getting you noticed by recruiters. I'll also optimize your LinkedIn profile, transforming it into a magnet for opportunity. Visit resumeassassin.com today and take charge of your job search. Visit resumeassassin.com. When we think of iconic spirits brands, we often imagine rugged distilleries, centuries-old family recipes, and, let's be honest, white men in Kentucky. But what if I told you that one of the most successful and groundbreaking whiskey brands today was founded by a Black woman with no prior experience in the spirits industry? A woman who not only built a $100 million company from scratch, but also resurrected a nearly lost piece of American history in the process. That woman is Fawn Weaver. Fawn isn't just the CEO of Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey. She is a storyteller, a truth seeker, and a force of nature. Her journey truly defies expectation, and her work transcends business. She's proof that with purpose, grit, and vision, you can challenge the dominant narrative and create something that rewrites history. Today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of Fawn Weaver, a name that you will never, ever forget after this episode, you guys. Fawn Weaver was born into a world of creativity. Her father, Frank Wilson, was a songwriter and producer for Motown, a label that gave voice to Black excellence in music. Her mother, a civil rights activist and scholar, instilled in Fawn the importance of truth, history, and standing up for what's right. Growing up in Los Angeles, she was exposed to both glamour and grit. And from backstage concerts to navigating the complexities of being a young Black girl in America, her childhood wasn't always easy. Growing up in Los Angeles, she was exposed to both glamour and grit. From backstage at concerts to navigating the complexities of being a young Black girl in America. Her childhood wasn't always easy. Despite the access to influential circles, Fawn often felt like an outsider. This sense of displacement taught her early how to observe, adapt, and move between worlds. These were not just the survival skills, but the foundations of her future entrepreneurial mindset. She learned to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and look beyond what others accepted as truth. These early years also introduced her to the power of storytelling. In her family, stories were everything. Whether in the form of music, sermons, or just family lore, the reverence for narrative would become a guiding force in her life and career, particularly in her later work with Uncle Nearest. Fawn's career didn't follow a straight line. She started in public relations, quickly climbing the ranks due to her charisma, sharp mind, and just relentless work ethic. From there, she dabbled in hospitality, writing, and even some publishing. And every turn, she reinvented herself, not out of necessity, but from a hunger to explore her potential. She was a hotel general manager before the age of 30 and later launched her own firm in brand communications. These ventures allowed her to refine her leadership style, direct but empathetic, strategic but deeply human, Her professional shifts weren't signs of uncertainty, but of a woman continuously expanding her capacity. Her book, Happy Wives Club, you guys, listen to this. It became a bestseller, and she found herself on national media circuits discussing love, life, and resilience. And it wasn't just the success of that book that stood out, it was how she turned a simple blog into this global community, proving her ability to build something from nothing. Every chapter of her early career was a sandbox for the empire she would later build. Behind the success was a woman who struggled deeply with mental health in her early adulthood. Fawn has spoken openly about her battles with depression and even suicide ideation. At one point, she had stood on the edge of a hotel balcony contemplating ending her life. This darkness could have swallowed her whole, but it didn't. She chose to fight instead. She immersed herself in books, therapy, and travel, and she journaled obsessively, processing pain through ink and page. And these years of just sheer emotional turmoil became the soil from which her strength would truly grow. And the vulnerability she cultivated turned into this unmatched capacity for empathy, allowing her to lead with a kind of emotional intelligence rarely seen in business. Her story here is really important because it reminds us that greatness is often forged in the fire. Fawn's ability to turn inward, to rebuild herself and emerge stronger is one of the most powerful arcs in her life. And it's a testament to the fact that mental health must be part of our success stories, not buried beneath them. In 2016, I came across a New York Times article about a formerly enslaved man named Nathan Nearest Green, who had taught Jack Daniel how to distill whiskey. Most people read the piece and moved on, but Fawn couldn't. Her curiosity became a complete obsession, and she and her husband Keith flew to Tennessee to learn more. So what was supposed to be a weekend trip turned into a months-long research mission, you guys. She spoke with descendants, combed through archives, and reconstructed a narrative that had been buried by time and just systematic erasure. She realized that Nearest Green wasn't just a footnote in someone else's story. He was the original master distiller, and she was going to make sure that the world knew it. This was more than historical curiosity. For Fawn, it was a calling. It combined her passions for storytelling, justice, and entrepreneurship into one singular mission: to ensure that Nearest Green's legacy was restored with dignity and celebration. With absolutely no background in whiskey, Fawn did what no one expected. She launched a premium spirits brand from scratch, self-funded and guided by a powerful vision. Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey was born. She assembled a world-class team, including descendants of Nearest Green himself, to ensure that the brand was just rooted in authenticity. The world of whiskey was skeptical. Okay, you guys. It's a notoriously tight-knit, male-dominated industry, but Fawn had done her homework. She wasn't just telling a good story, she had the product to back it up. Uncle Nearest won award after award, quickly becoming the fastest growing independent whiskey brand in American history. And what made it special wasn't just the taste, though that helped. It was the story, the authenticity, the purpose. Fawn didn't just build a brand, she built a movement. She turned commerce into a vehicle for justice and storytelling, into a strategy for growth. Fawn's mission went far beyond whiskey sales. She founded the Nearest Green Foundation to provide college scholarships for every direct descendant of Nearest Green. She also helped establish the Nearest Green Distillery out there in Shelbyville, Tennessee. It was the first distillery in U.S. history to honor an African American master distiller. And this wasn't performative allyship, it was reparative action. She knew that telling this story wasn't enough. She had to materially lift those connected to it. She turned Uncle Nearest into a platform for historical justice, giving visibility, opportunity, and legacy to those who had been erased. Through exhibits, documentaries, and public speaking, Fawn has become a steward of Black history, reframing narratives that have long, you guys, long been distorted or even ignored. And in doing so, she has shown how business can be a vessel for cultural restoration. Fawn also just leads differently, y'all. She's unapologetically hands-on, incredibly transparent, and deeply invested in the well-being of her team. Her leadership philosophy centers on purpose, integrity, and legacy. She's not just building a company, she's building a community. Under her guidance, Uncle Nearest has developed a culture of excellence that is both high-performing and human-centric. And she has rejected acquisition offers, refusing to sell out or compromise the brand's independence. And that alone speaks volume, you guys. She also invests in other minority-led businesses and mentors young entrepreneurs. Her success hasn't made her gatekeep. It's made her even more generous. She lifts while she climbs. Fawn is a master of media, not in a performative way, but as a means of control over narrative. She understands the power of being seen, especially for those historically made invisible. She uses every interview, article, and speech to spotlight the mission, not herself. Yet, her presence itself is radical. I mean, a Black woman absolutely dominating the whiskey industry and owning her story with such authority is rare. She's not asking for permission to lead. She simply leads. Representation matters. And by taking up space in industries where people who look like her are often erased or excluded, Fawn paves the way for others to follow. And at the heart of Fawn's story is a deep sense of faith. She believes in divine alignment, that her work is not just business, but calling. That belief fuels her resilience, focus, and optimism, even in the face of challenges. She doesn't separate life from work or values from strategy. Her whole life is guided by a set of core beliefs. Honor truth, uplift others, build legacy. These aren't slogans, they're an actual framework through which she sees the entire world. And perhaps that's what makes her so magnetic. She's driven by something bigger than profit. Her motivation is purpose. Her philosophy is love in action. Fawn Weaver is not just changing the whiskey industry, you guys. She's changing the way we think about entrepreneurship, legacy, and justice. Her impact, it goes far beyond just a bottle. It lives in the scholarships funded, the narratives restored, and the lives inspired, mine included. She often says she wants Uncle Nearest to still be thriving 100 years from now, but perhaps her real legacy is the blueprint that she's leaving behind. One where business is a tool for truth-telling, where success includes equity, and where stories have the power to change history. This is the story of Fawn Weaver. A story of reinvention, redemption, and radical leadership. A story that reminds us all your purpose can be your greatest product. Her journey isn't just inspiring, it's a masterclass in career building. She shows us that your background doesn't have to define your trajectory. And your current role, you guys, it does not limit your future. Reinvention is possible at every single stage. You can pivot industries, redefine leadership, and pursue purpose-driven work that makes a tangible impact. Whether you're just starting your career or at a crossroads, Fawn's story is an awesome reminder that it's okay to follow your curiosity, to lead with heart, and to take bold risks. She didn't wait for validation or permission. She created her own seat at the table and invited others to join. As you think about your own path, ask yourself, what legacy do you want to leave? What truths are you uniquely positioned to tell? And like Fawn, your greatest career move might not be a promotion. It might be choosing purpose over predictability. Because in the end, the most powerful careers aren't built on titles. They're built on truth, courage, and the willingness to turn vision into reality. Thanks for listening. I will be releasing episodes every Monday, so be sure to subscribe on the platform that you are watching this, give it a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.